In this third part, we venture underground through mountains, deserts, and into secret military strongholds. We'll explore tunnels longer than any on Earth, solar megafarms the size of cities, and command centers buried beneath Beijing. This is infrastructure with a purpose. Bold, strategic, and built to last. Welcome to part 3, Beneath, Beyond, and Between. Tian Shan Shengli Tunnel, drilling through the heavenly mountains. High in China's far west Xinjiang region, engineers have achieved a world record by completing the Tian Shan Shengli Tunnel, now the longest highway tunnel on Earth. Bored under the snow-capped Tian Shan, meaning heavenly mountains, this twin-tube road tunnel stretches a staggering 22.13 kilometers in length. It is a centerpiece of the new Urumqi-Yuli Expressway, a route that will link northern and southern Xinjiang across some of the most formidable terrain in Asia. Tunneling through Tian Shan was an epic challenge. Crews began work in 2020 and spent 52 months drilling through hard rock, 16 fault zones, and sections of soft waterlogged geology that miners described as like tofu pudding. The rock overburden above the tunnel is up to 1,500 meters thick, creating ground pressures reaching 22 megapascals, enough to cause dangerous rock bursts. Temperatures deep in the mountain and pockets of pressurized water added complexity. To conquer these hurdles, China deployed its first ever tunnel boring machine, TBM, for highway tunneling, cutting hard rock with precision and speed. Innovative rapid excavation techniques were pioneered, significantly accelerating progress despite the harsh conditions at 3,000 meters altitude in winter. Breakthrough, the meeting of tunnels from opposite ends, occurred on December 30th, 2024, marking a triumph. Shengli means victory over Tianshan. When the expressway opens in 2025, the tunnel will reduce what was once a 3+ hour treacherous mountain drive to a mere 20 minutes. The Urumqi-Yuli Expressway, including the tunnel, will provide a faster, safer link between Xinjiang's capital Urumqi in the north and the remote communities of the south, like Yuli County in the Tarim Basin. This is vital for economic integration and military mobility. Until now, travel across the Tian Shan was often impeded by snow or took a circuitous route. The Tian Shan Shengli Tunnel is not only an engineering feat, but also a strategic asset. At over 22 kilometers, it overtakes Norway's Lærdal Tunnel as the longest road tunnel worldwide. Its successful completion demonstrates China's mastery of large-scale underground excavation, even in earthquake-prone zones. The Tian Shan region is seismically active. The tunnel's construction has improved China's TBM technology and tunnel safety management, lessons that will feed into future projects, such as Sichuan-Tibet railway tunnels. Furthermore, by cutting distance and steep mountain driving, the tunnel will save fuel and reduce emissions from vehicles, aligning with China's climate goals in a small but meaningful way. The project's challenges, freezing temperatures, landslides, sudden mud flows, also underscore the impacts of extreme weather, which struck during construction when a mudslide in mid-2024 damaged an expressway section nearby. Engineers had to adapt construction methods for resilience against such events. In sum, the Tian Shan Shengli Tunnel is a testament to human tenacity beneath the heavenly mountains. It symbolizes how China's infrastructure push extends even to its remotest frontiers, knitting together a vast nation with roads through the very heart of the mountains. The Great Solar Wall, Desert Solar Mega Projects. China is building a great wall of solar, not literally a wall, but a chain of sprawling desert-based solar farms so large they can be seen from space. Perhaps the most famous is the Tengger Desert Solar Park in Ningxia, often nicknamed the Great Wall of Solar. Covering around 43 square kilometers of arid land, this photovoltaic array has an installed capacity of 1,500 megawatts. When it was completed in 2017, Tengger was the world's largest solar farm and earned China global recognition for renewable energy ambition. The name Great Solar Wall comes from its vast expanse of solar panels stretching to the horizon, analogous in scale, if not form, to the Great Wall. It currently generates enough electricity to power hundreds of thousands of homes, offsetting millions of tons of CO2 annually. But Tengger is just one piece. In recent years, China announced a colossal plan to build 100 plus gigawatts of new solar and wind capacity in its western deserts by 2030, as part of the nation's carbon neutrality neutrality roadmap. This includes giant projects in the Gobi, Kabuki, and Taklamakan deserts. One example, a 2022 project in the Kabuki Desert, Inner Mongolia, that combines 2 gigawatts of solar, 3 gigawatts of wind, plus energy storage, capable of powering 1.5 million households. By harnessing intense sunlight on uninhabited land, these projects produce clean energy at low cost. The Great Solar Wall moniker has thus expanded to refer to China's broader strategy of lining its desert fringes with solar panels and wind turbines in a contiguous belt. Technologically, these solar megafarms use advanced features, bifacial solar panels, collecting sunlight from both sides, aided by reflective sand, robotic cleaning systems to remove dust, and ultra-high voltage UHV transmission lines to send power thousands of kilometers to demand centers in eastern China. The Tengger Park, for instance, is integrated into the grid via 330 kilovolt lines and benefits from Ningxia's dry climate, which yields high solar insolation. China's state grid has built an extensive UHV network to handle the influx of renewables from remote areas, a critical factor in making the desert solar plan feasible. The environmental impact of these projects is largely positive in terms of climate. Every gigawatt of solar can avoid roughly 1.3 million tons of CO2 per year compared to coal power. Locally, care is taken to minimize disruption to fragile desert ecosystems. Panels are often raised to allow vegetation to grow underneath, mitigating sand erosion. Some farms implement sand control by planting drought-tolerant shrubs around panel arrays, creating a symbiosis where solar farms also help combat desertification. Still, challenges exist. Dust storms can cover panels, hence the need for cleaning robots, and extreme heat can reduce efficiency. Geopolitically, China's Great Solar Wall signals its determination to lead the world in renewable energy. It is part of why China adds more solar capacity each year than any other country. In 2023, China installed a record approximately 95 gigawatts of solar PV, bringing total installed solar to over 400 gigawatts. This renewables push is essential for China to meet its 2030/2060 climate pledges. By massively scaling up solar and wind, China aims to wean itself off coal while ensuring energy security. Notably, the expertise gained. Chinese firms now dominate global solar panel production and are pioneering large-scale grid integration, also strengthens China's hand in the global clean tech market. In summary, the Great Solar Wall is an apt metaphor, a monumental man-made structure, but instead of bricks and stone, it's composed of silicon panels absorbing sunshine. Just as the Great Wall was built to protect and unify, the Great Solar Wall of desert projects is intended to safeguard China's future by providing clean power at scale, unifying far-flung renewable resources with the national grid. It may one day stand as one of humanity's greatest collective efforts to fight climate change. Underground Beijing Military City, a doomsday command center. North of Beijing, beneath forested hills, China is covertly constructing a massive underground military command center, a project so large that analysts say it could be 10 times the size of the Pentagon. Dubbed Beijing Military City by some observers, the site spans an estimated 6 square kilometers, about 30 kilometers southwest of Beijing's center. Construction reportedly began in mid-2024, as evidenced by satellite imagery showing extensive excavation, deep shafts, and tunnels being bored into bedrock. This underground complex is believed to be a next-generation hardened national defense headquarters, intended to shelter China's top leadership and military command in the event of conflict, including a potential nuclear war. It will likely comprise multiple reinforced bunkers, command halls, communications centers, and living quarters buried deep enough to withstand missile strikes. Large above-ground office buildings are also expected on site, but the heart of the facility is subterranean. One Chinese source described it as a doomsday bunker for the People's Liberation Army's most critical command functions. The sheer scale, nearly 10 times bigger than the Pentagon in footprint, suggests China is creating a whole secure military campus. By comparison, the US Pentagon is about 150 acres. This is an order of magnitude more area, though much of it could be buffer and blast protection zones. The complex is strategically located in the Western Hills area, not far from an existing older underground command, built in the 1960s. The Western Hills region has favorable geology, hard rock mountains to tunnel into, and was used in the past for projects Project 131 Mao-era leadership tunnels. The new site near Chongqing Reservoir likely takes advantage of mountains both for concealment and for structural protection. The decision to embark on such a project is telling. It indicates that Beijing is preparing for worst-case scenarios amid rising geopolitical tensions. By building an indestructible nerve center, the Chinese leadership aims to ensure C3I, command, control, communications, and intelligence, continuity even under intense attack. The complex would presumably be outfitted with secure communications links, perhaps fiber optic cables running to military satellite uplinks, etc., independent power and air filtration, and long-term supplies. US officials have noted this project as evidence of an intensifying tech and military rivalry. Essentially, it's one node in China's broader effort to harden its defenses against advanced US capabilities. From an engineering perspective, excavating a multi-square kilometer base underground, complete with tunnels wide enough for vehicles and large war rooms, is hugely challenging. It involves tunnel boring, controlled explosives, and removing millions of cubic meters of rock. The presence of warning signs banning drones and photography around the site, and armed guards turning away curious visitors, shows the secrecy and security around the project. No official Chinese media has acknowledged the project's details. The foreign ministry gave a non-denial about encouraging enterprises to invest abroad when asked, deflecting from the topic. For China's carbon-neutral narrative, this project is somewhat tangential. It's not about climate or economy, but about national security infrastructure. However, its existence underscores how infrastructure for China isn't just bridges and rail. It also means fortifying the nation. The command center will be a permanent fixture, ensuring the party and military can function under existential threats. In the grand scheme of mega projects, it is perhaps the least publicly visible, but one of the most strategically profound. If tensions ease in the future, this underground city might never be used for its intended purpose, but building it now signals China's determination to prepare for all contingencies. Dalian Jinzhouwan Airport, an island rises from the sea. China is not only building infrastructure on land and under land, it's also building new land itself. Off the coast of Dalian, a major port in Liaoning province, an enormous artificial island airport is taking shape. The Dalian Jinzhouwan International Airport project involves reclaiming 20 square kilometers of land from the sea to create what will be the world's largest artificial island airport. This man-made island will dwarf famous precedents like Hong Kong's Cheklap-Kok, 12.5 square kilometers, and Japan's Kansai Airport, 10.5 square kilometers. Construction began in 2017 with extensive dredging and land reclamation. Millions of cubic meters of sand and rock are being poured into Jinzhou Bay to form a rectangular island platform. As of late 2024, foundation ground improvement over a 77,000 square meter section was completed, and work is progressing on the terminal foundations. The project's price tag is $4.3 billion. Targeted completion is 2035, by which time the airport will feature 4 runways and a 900,000 square meter terminal, capable of ultimately handling 80 million passengers per year, initially 43 million. For perspective, 80 million annually would make it one of the busiest airports in the world, on par with London Heathrow or Chicago O'Hare. Why build an airport in the sea? Dalian's existing Zhoushuizi Airport is landlocked by urban development and cannot expand. Its capacity is constrained and it faces noise issues. The new island airport allows for a state-of-the-art hub with long runways and 24-hour operations. Over water, noise is less a concern. Its location on the Bohai seacoast positions it as a potential international gateway for Northeast Asia, strengthening Dalian's connectivity to Japan, Korea, and beyond. With China's aviation market booming and expected to be the world's largest by 2040, this project is a forward-looking investment to secure capacity for future growth. The engineering challenges are considerable. Building a stable island platform requires advanced land reclamation techniques. Crews have to ensure the reclaimed land settles uniformly and remains secure against tides, storms, and potential sea level rise. Techniques like vacuum preloading and soil solidification are being used to solidify the sand fill. Breakwaters and seawalls are constructed around the perimeter to protect against erosion and typhoon waves. Additionally, ground transportation links, bridges, or tunnels must connect the island to the mainland. Early plans show causeways linking to Dalian's coastal highway network, visible as a causeway in concept images. Once finished, Jinzhouwan Airport will mark the first sea-based airport on mainland China's coast. Hong Kong is technically outside the mainland, and other Chinese coastal airports are on peninsulas or existing land. It will stand as a bold example of building new territory to meet infrastructure needs, literally expanding China's usable land area by creating an island. There are environmental concerns, of course. Dredging can disrupt marine ecosystems and coastal hydrology. Local authorities conducted assessments and claimed to relocate marine life and minimize impact, but some damage to sea habitats is likely inevitable. Balancing that, the new airport will improve air traffic efficiency and reduce congestion, potentially avoiding carbon emissions from idling aircraft at overloaded airports elsewhere. Ultimately, Dalian's artificial island airport is emblematic of China's can-do approach to infrastructure. Where land is scarce, China makes more land. Where runways are too short, it builds longer ones on the ocean. As climate change progresses, lessons from projects like this, building resilient structures in marine environments, could prove valuable. The Jinzhouwan Airport, rising from the sea, underscores how China's infrastructure ambitions literally have no bounds, extending even to terraforming its geography for the future. We've seen what lies below and across the land. Now it's time to look above. In our final episode, we launch into orbit with China's answer to Starlink, follow digital cables across continents, and head into the heights of the Tibetan Plateau. Part 4 is about power, in space, in cyberspace, and across the last great frontiers.